Hello and welcome to episode 56 of Let's Hear It. Today's guest is Cameron Knowler. He's a guitar player based in Houston, Texas, and he's going to show us a 1954 Martin 0018 acoustic guitar. He is a very well-educated musician, has a degree in music from the University of Houston, and he is a teacher, performer, makes records, various people. And we're going to have a chat about Norman Blake, flat-picking guitar, and playing guitar during a pandemic. All right, well, let's say hello to Cameron Knowler. How you doing, Cameron?
Good. Thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. I know you're in Houston, Texas, which has had a challenging week, to say the least. How are you doing?
I am good. It is really bizarre because as quickly as it happened, it went away. So it's odd to see the world seemingly back to normal, but thankfully I'm no longer really impacted. My instruments weren't flooded, but I know a lot of folks in other cities that are, which is really unfortunate. But it was a week to remember for sure.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So tell me a little bit about your life as a musician. You're a teacher. I know you play in various ensembles and you've written a book. So tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about this amazing Martin 0018 you have.
Sure. Yeah. So originally I'm from Arizona, where I started playing guitar pretty young, and then I moved to Houston around the time I was 12. And it wasn't until I was 17 that I really, or maybe 16, that I really took to bluegrass flat picking guitar. And that was kind of my jump into acoustic music, which is what I would consider myself now. Though I just graduated into the pandemic with a degree in jazz guitar performance. So a lot of what I do when the world is actually functioning is, session guitar player, gunslinger, as I call it. But mainly what I really get the most from in music is teaching. And I teach a number of styles, but I guess what I'm perhaps most known for is flat picking and diving into the old time tradition to learn more about where the music comes from and to mine deeper sources for fiddle tunes.
And who would you cite as some of your flat picking influences?
Well, I know that we were chatting a bit before this, and I think we're both kindred spirits in the Norman Blake camp. For me, when I first heard bluegrass in this showcase in Wyoming, they had played Whiskey Before Breakfast and announced it. The first thing whenever I got back to Texas, I YouTubed that and found Norman's performance of that on his first homespun tape. And really everything after that, I mean, it was him and Mother Maybelle Carter really, really early on. So thankfully, those two sources have been my guiding stars. And of course, Norman's connection to Mother Maybelle, as well as her influence on his playing. But other flat pickers, for me, Bob Minner, who plays with Tim McGraw, he's also, Norman Blake is his number one. And Robert Bolin, who is in Illinois now, but he was a fiddler for Bill Monroe in the 90s, I believe. But I'm attracted to Norman and Robert specifically because they're both flat pickers who also play fiddle, which is very rare. So those are really my three main flat picking guys.
Well, yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know that much about the term flat picking, it's really the style of acoustic guitar that started emulating fiddle tunes, actually. The fiddle songs were so popular in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and when larger body guitars started coming out in the 20s and 30s, great players, you could start with Riley Puckett back in the 20s and 30s, and then a lot of people picked up that style and went from Norman Blake to Tony Rice to everybody who's flat picking. Those are their influence. I can't forget Doc Watson as well.
Totally, 100%. Yeah.
So tell me about what you're teaching. What type of students are you teaching? Is it mainly acoustic guitar? Are you teaching some jazz guitar?
Yeah, so I mainly right now, it's always a mixed bag, and it's really interesting to meet the challenge of what someone wants to learn. My style is very much based on intuition, so I don't have an agenda. I just explore whatever. If I have a concept that I want to get across, I package it into whichever song interests the student. But really, mainly it's teaching a lot of old time backup guitar recently through some YouTube videos I did and the book that you mentioned a bit earlier. Also, jazz students. A lot of the jazz students are people who are looking to get into a degree and need to brush up on their theory. Electric country guitar, people are trying to expand their harmonic vocabulary, and some beginner finger picking students as well. And I always try to be a traditional music evangelist and try to tuck in all of these early sources so that maybe one day, if it's not what suits them or what floats their boat in the moment, they look back and think, wow, I'm really glad that he taught me this, Lena Hughes version of Spanish Fandango as opposed to the one out of the, method book or whatever. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but and I don't have a preference over one style or the other, but yeah.
You're planting old time seeds in unsuspecting musicians' brains.
It's the goal. That's really at the end of the day what I'm doing this for.
Nice. Well, tell me about this Martin 0018. When did you get it? What year is it again?
Yeah, this is a 1954. I originally got this guitar when I was 17. I was just playing a 2012 D18, and it was my first Martin. And for whatever reason, this is going to all tie back to Norman somehow. But I was always attracted to the dynamic range that you could get out of smaller body guitars, whether it be a 000 12 fret, 00 14 fret. And I was a frequenter of the UMGF, the unofficial Martin Guitar Forum, for a long time. And I went on the buy and sell section. I just said, I'm looking for a 50s small body. I didn't have a preference. I think I might have put 00 or 000, but I wanted something short scale, 14 fret. Chris Eldridge has a 1954 D28. And I think Molly Tuttle played a early 50s D18 for a while if she doesn't have it any longer. But there was something budget friendly about the 50s. Of course, it's not the cheapest era to get into, but I felt like it was something I could afford. And I can't remember the guy's name, but someone reached out pretty quickly and said, I have one. And he knew I was young, and he just said, you can do a layaway plan.
Wow.
I think I sent him like 25%, and then I sold some other things, and thankfully I was able to pay the other 75% rather quickly. But being a 17-year-old kid who was working at a guitar big box retailer, that level of confidence and kindness was really appreciated. So I have that connection to it that way through the buyer. Funny side note, a relative was flooded, and one guitar, she had a mandolin and a guitar, and the mandolin got completely destroyed. I don't know what it was, but she had a guitar, which is a 1953 0018 gut strings, which I now have, and they both have Adirondack tops. So I think of them almost like a pair. They're like maybe 50 serial numbers away from one another.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that origin story. Well, go ahead and let's hear what it sounds like. Well, that sounded great. And I certainly heard Norman in there and various other flat picking influences. And I love that about flat pickers, the ability to tell a musical story in a 2 or 3 minute, 4 minute piece, and timing and feel, and obviously variations on the melody, and all that stuff was in there. It was very beautiful.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, great, man. I really appreciate you coming on. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to hear that guitar. The 0018s are some of my favorite guitars. They're usually very reliable. You pick one up and they're usually great.
Absolutely. I think there's a certain... I haven't played a lot of triple O's, but I know exactly what you're talking about with these double O's. There's just a symbiosis between having the 14 frets, the size of the body, the harmonic response, and like I was saying earlier, though I really like playing dreadnoughts, I think that there's something. I'm really thankful for the live situations where I don't have to be super loud and super punchy, because this body style allows you to dig in ways, and it gives you freedom, not only having the lighter strings, of course, but also having that added dynamic response that I think is something I value in a flat picking instrument, whereas it's not necessarily the tradition of it, but I certainly agree with your thought about them being very consistent.
Yeah, and they're comfortable to play, and I think that's like when I do flat picking, it's just when I get on a dreadnought, I'm just not good at it. I don't know why. I just it's maybe the guitar is too big for me, but when I play a smaller body guitar, I just feel like I have a better handle on it. I see people playing D18s
Totally.
and I'm just floored. I'm like, wow, listen to that. But I can't do it myself.
No, yeah. Yeah, no, it's a balancing act for the dreadnoughts. I feel like I can't just put a pair of light strings on there. It's too light. A medium set is something that I really have to wrestle with. But I have to figure out composite sets. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. I think there's something that with a double O, at least for me, I kind of take on the character of the guitar, and it takes on the character of me in ways that I just don't get in a larger body instrument.
All right, Cameron. Well, good luck to you. Good luck digging out down there in Texas. I know everything's melted, but I know it's still a crazy situation there. So take care of yourself.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Always great to hear a Martin 0018, especially in the hands of somebody who really knows how to play it. Thank you, Cameron. Check back in the next couple days for the next episode of Let's Hear It.